And Rendan, Lovell, what did we watch today?
We watched Crime 101.
Crime 101, 101 crimes. Was there 101 crimes?
Surprisingly, maybe.
Spoiler alert. We are going to be spoiling Crime 101.
Everything about Crime
So you said before we were going to watch Crime 101 that this was going to be Mercy 2.0. And are you in the same... Do you still think that?
No.
I want to know.
No, I thought this was going to be some straight to Netflix, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon kind of Mercy again. Just a straightforward action movie. And honestly, even though it at times is a fairly straightforward action movie, there's a lot more going on here than I thought or expected. I was a little bit worried because when I first saw the runtime, I was very nervous because like Mercy's hour 40, hour 50, and I was like, okay, action movie, fine, that's a decent runtime. This is almost 2.5 hours, and I was stunned at the length and scared, and I was like, there's no way this isn't going to be a Netflix movie, and it's about 3 different characters going through doing all their own thing, and Chris Hemsworth's putting on an American accent. I was like, this is going to be a boring action movie. And I really liked it. I thought it was really, really good. Halle Berry is great in it. Chris Hemsworth is great in it. And Mark Ruffalo is great. And every character has their own little thing that they're doing, which I very much enjoyed.
Me too. I loved it. I think it was... you put it in my head that it was going to be this, just a cookie cutter, action movie. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in an action movies? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this was no Jason Bourne. No. A classic. Mm-hmm. A classic. Love that. But it was new and different and actually quite good the entire way through. Mm-hmm. It led me through a couple of different thought patterns. I didn't know exactly what to expect, what was going to happen, how they were going to come together in the end and do this thing. And what I'm very happy with is that it did not end like one of those heist movies where they get the gold and then they trick the guy and then they like ride off into the sunset like laughing. Mm-hmm. No, like it didn't happen that way. It was actually I like how it ended. I'm a bit confused. Maybe because I'm an idiot, how they got all of the riches out of there?
Yeah.
How that happened? I mean, I understand how Mike sent the photo of him.
Sure. But,
he didn't get away with it. He didn't walk away with anything. How did I don't understand.
Well, we should set up before we get too deep into it. Like, what is this movie? The Crime 101. It's such a generic title when you first hear it because I'm like, Crime 101. It for me it creates the illusion of like this is the basics of crime. Like you go to school and you have English 101. That's what this first alluded to me, but it's actually there's a little bit more going on even with the title where it's about a guy who's committing a string of murders along the 101 freeway. Robbers, because he doesn't kill anybody. He doesn't have any violence, which is why he's the good guy. Because you can relate to him, even though he's like Robin Hood. I mean, he takes money from the rich and gives it to himself, but he's a poor guy, and he lives on the beach, and he's this most charming man ever with no personality, which was funny. I went and watched this with a girl, and I was like, is it really that easy just to be rich, tall, and handsome, and you just get any girl? And she's like, yeah.
I like how they kind of start and finish on the point of breathing. I go to yoga class quite frequently. I don't think you do.
No.
Yet. Maybe you will someday. You'll go with me.
I thought about going a lot. So.
But it's interesting how, from the very beginning, to bring it in, it's just this little dark movements, but you hear the instructors asking us to inhale and exhale. And I actually did close my eyes and followed her instructions. And, it kind of brings you into the movie really nicely. And then the first bit of it, I'm trying to find my bearings. Who are these people? Are these the main characters? No, these are just 2 victims. And it kind of jumps right into what he does, how he does it, and, why he's so good at it. The interesting thing with his father... how the father is kind of like the overseer, like the main bad guy behind it all, like the man behind the curtain. And how he kind of fades off a little bit too. It becomes irrelevant very quickly after that. I'm not sure his name. Barry
Kogan.
Kogan.
Yeah. He becomes the main villain.
He becomes the main villain. But yeah, that doesn't really. I don't know. It's an interesting show to watch, and I think that's what it was about. It wasn't trying to evoke any deep meaning for us.
Really.
Although if I'm trying to find some, which I always like to find meaning,
right.
I think it's that we often think we're not good enough.
Yeah.
But we always are if we just see ourselves in a different light. So like Halle Berry's character, missing her name, Susan.
Yeah, Susan, I think.
Susie.
Sue or Susan. Or something like that.
Salami. Where did that come from? Halle Berry, salami. Never heard those in the same word sentence. Yeah, she definitely has her coming up to, and I really liked her scene. The biggest scene for her was when she told off the boss douchebag. It was really right in front of the new girl, and then she took it. She was like, "Oh, is this how it's gonna be?" So she had a really good comeuppance, and she's like, she just walks out, and then she has 8 diamonds that came out of nowhere. I don't know how. I didn't see. They didn't show us how. I don't think they showed us how that happened.
I don't remember. I know like Mark Ruffalo had them somehow, and I don't know if he opened the case and snatched them really quick or something. I don't know, but that kind of creates its own little issue with morality if you want to look too into it. But he was able to get some diamonds and give it to Halle Berry.
So that's the thing about morality. I think that might be maybe where this touches the most as far as subject matter. Because the hero, the secondary, I would say maybe the primary hero is Chris Hemsworth's character, although he is more of like a sideline as far as the story goes.
Yeah,
it kind of follows him mostly. I feel like, but the main storyline is about how Susan and Mark Ruffalo, how cop dude, come together to make. I thought, for instance, the cop would have been like turned dirty, but and in a sense, maybe you could think that because he stole these diamonds, but he says to Susan, you got something, nobody's looking for it.
Right.
So, like as if everyone's square, the insurance is paid, blah blah blah, everything's paid, no one cares. There's no victim. And you can start a new life. You can leave your job, and then I think it is kind of blurring the lines for us about morality, which is maybe good, maybe dangerous. Yeah. But we get to think a little bit about what does this mean for us? How would I, would I run someone down the street? Would I fire back if someone just shot at me, knowing that I was never going to hurt them, but. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a very morally gray movie in general. Because, again, like you said, the main guy, Chris Hemsworth, who pushes the plot forward and is the catalyst to introduce the real, protagonists of the movie, he is very morally gray. I mean, he's doing all these con jobs, robbing people, but he has, a moral. He's like Batman, kind of. He's like a vigilante with this moral compass of I don't kill people, but I will do whatever to clean up the streets. Sorta.
But he'll point a gun at their head, traumatize them, put them in a trunk, and then drive them down. But he's not a bad guy. Come on, he's definitely a bad guy. He just is kind of likable. But he has very few redeeming factors about him as far as he's trying to find emotion and how to express himself and get a girlfriend. Right. Because he's just sick of all these hot prostitutes that he just has in these houses that he's like, hey, I need a new house by the beach real quick. Okay, click. And go, nothing redeemable about him. Not that being able to do that is unredeemable, but the fact that you're constantly getting meeting prostitutes and you're harming people the psychological harm that goes into traumatizing someone like that. There's no gray area for me.
Okay. I view him a little more gray than you. He's definitely leans more bad than good. But like, I think they did a decent job, at least in the start, like with the prostitute scene where they're like, you got to get laid. You're just working too much. And then he gets the prostitute, and it's like the most horrifically awkward scene. He's just sitting on the edge of the bed like a toddler. Like, for me, it was like that.
Because you know why? I want to hear what you were going to say, though.
Okay, well, it for me, it set him up as this guy who is just doing his job, and he doesn't know how to do anything else, which is where that little simple arc comes into play, because he's this guy who doesn't, like Hot Fuzz, if you've seen that, it's like the guy who doesn't know how to shut off. And the movie is all about these characters learning something, and his learning something is learning how to actually live a semi-normal life, which I like that it had this character who's not particularly good, and then he, over the course of the movie, at least seems to grow in a way that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to really think about it, did he, in my opinion, I mean, at the end, he kind of just wanted to, I think, give it all away, right? Turn around, give the car away. Don't go on the next thing. He's gonna go live a normal life with his girlfriend, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like a Shawshank type thing where they get away and it's not. I mean, it's definitely not as nice as
he
that.
walked away with no walk away money.
Right.
I like the line though. Like
the walk away.
The point of the walk away money is you got to be able to walk away with it.
Yeah, it's a nice moment. Yeah, and I actually really loved that. That bit in the third act where they both are playing different people without really knowing they're playing different people, but also kind of knowing that they're different people.
Mark Ruffalo knew.
He knew it was him.
He knew. But it was a surprise to Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
To Mike that he's a cop. Mm-hmm. But he found the gun in his pocket. Like, he knew he had a gun, though. So it was interesting. Yeah. He was just going to see how it plays out.
And I really liked it's such a breath of fresh air to watch a big budget action movie where the climax isn't a city leveling threat. And even in Mercy, where cars are flying into buildings and exploding, and if they detonate this bomb, everyone's dead in Los Angeles. It was just like 5 people in an apartment.
For $11 million.
Yeah, just like a small sum of money, and then a couple people in an apartment pointing guns at each other, and a psycho comes in and breaks it all up and makes it go crazy. And it's like the Joker.
Funny thing is, they all deserve to whatever they get.
Yeah,
they all, you know.
Yeah, none of them were set up. That's why this is where it's interesting to me, because all of them were set up with their very clear problems. And Mark Ruffalo, he doesn't really come off as a great dude either. I mean, you have that one scene in the diner with his wife, and they're just like screaming at each other, and they both seem to hate each other. They're both living like miserable lives. He gets kicked out of his house. He has a drug problem. He smokes. He's like taking nicotine gum.
Yeah, his whole job, everyone he's surrounded by are corrupt. They're all corrupt. And they hate him because he is actually wants to do the right thing, and he actually is right, and he's smart, and but
everyone hates him.
Yeah,
so they push him down the totem pole, and the guy that's younger than him has the job he should have.
Yeah, and he's bad at it, and he doesn't, So at the end, I think this is a Mark Ruffalo movie.
He's so good in it.
Yeah, he killed it. I think he said it was very hard sometimes remembering his lines. Because Halle Berry still got it.
Oh, yeah, she does.
And if 53 is the real number, damn.
He's good in the role, and I think he works well as the counter or the parallel to Chris Hemsworth to show that even though he's not a great dude, you can see the guy who normally gets hired to do this is significantly worse. And it's like the Batman comparison I made earlier was like, you have your Batman, you have your Joker, the guy who is just there to make you break the one rule you have about no violence. And that's ultimately the point and the arc for Chris Hemsworth is that he has his one rule. He gets it's broken by the Joker because he has to kill him to save everybody else. Yeah. And so that's sort of interesting. I like that parallel.
It was there, he did have to, but he did it not to hurt someone, but to help someone. He did it with the intention that he wanted to save someone, which is altruistic instead of, doing it for the money.
Yeah, right. Which is a great little moment to have, and it shows that he's made his arc, and then he goes and he gives the letter to his girlfriend, and he gives the car away, and he's finally realized that, like she says at one point at a dinner, I believe, where she's like, I think you do have enough. And he's like, no, I don't have my number yet. He has this vague fake number in his mind that if he gets there, he'll be okay. And that's what's his motivation is. That's what's completely driven him the whole movie. And then
he's been driven by the material the whole time. He even says it, and that's another thing, because I think filmmakers like to put things in layers.
Yeah,
I think layers are important. Like we talked about last time, how it can mean one thing on this, but on the next day you can see something else in it.
Right.
And that's maybe something else we could see, is that the materialism that brings us down, it's only when we release that need for materialism that things start to line up.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what happens with everybody, really. I mean, like, everybody has their motivation or their goal they're working for. Halle Berry wants to close the big client, which is kind of the generic corporate-y thing. You close the big client, you get partnership. That's her motivation. Completely materialistic, because she's in a line of work that is kind of inherently materialistic. And then she realizes as well that it's just not worth it. And before she even gets her diamonds, she quits the job because she's like, this isn't worth it. It's not worth me degrading myself. And then Mark Ruffalo as well once you let go of that, the good things start coming to you. And that's the same with every single character in the movie. And I enjoyed that. I think that all three of these paralleling stories are really well put together.
Oh my gosh, this just reminded me. So you know how she had a sleeping problem? She clearly battles insomnia. She's not able to. She's I know she's got her. Halle Berry's sleep score is so low.
It's terribly low.
Oh my gosh! But this just popped in my head. You know what insomnia means?
What?
It literally means the inability to let go. And so when you finally are able to let go, you can sleep.
Oh, that's a nice little metaphor right there. Yeah, I mean, and they really hammer it home too, where she's up at like 5 a.m. and she looks at her phone.
She's like, 2 hours of sleep? What is this?
Yeah,
I've been in bed for 9 hours, and I'm like, okay, well, clearly you need to let go of something, honey.
Yeah,
and that means that you need to let go. She's holding on to this job, which is just killing her. So finally, she's able to let go of it, and then poof. Like Ruffalo hands her a $8 million in diamonds. Wow.
Yep. It's nice. It's just this like little things in this that elevate it. It's not. I won't say it's gonna like win any awards. It's not gonna be a big awards contender. It's probably not gonna be one of those movies that people really love. But in terms of an action movie that of what I expected it to be, there's just these little touches that elevate it.
Yeah. So I think it is actually a very good balance of action, dialogue, and then cinematography. Yeah. So all the way through, I would probably give it, since I don't know what my scale is, I'd probably give it like an 8.1.
Oh, okay.
An 8.1.
Okay,
just to get a couple points above you.
Okay. Okay.
I think that is classy.
Yeah, sure. I always, if we're gonna talk about rating scales a little bit here, I always start at a 5. Like a 5 for me is perfectly average. 5 in a out of 10 rating scale, 5 is perfectly average, and the more like really great things that I love, the higher it goes. The things that I really don't like, the lower it goes. So for a movie like this, I'm like, oh, the cast is great, the cinematography is great, the music is solid, there's elevation to these characters, there's arcs, there's little things it's doing, and it's going up, and then I'm like, the pacing could be better, it could be a little shorter, the ending could be cleaner, it could be a little bit more clear here and there. So I'm like, yeah. Like, without those things, I'd probably still be like, 8 out of 10, because it doesn't really have that special sauce. But that's probably how I try to judge things.